Super Smash Bros., the game that will forever be the staple of Nintendo's greatest video game franchise in history. Of course, we need to take a step back. 1989, director Masahiro Sakurai, game developer, songwriter, and the father of Kirby, started at HAL Laboratory, creating the best Kirby games for each console and handheld. Then, he had a revelation, to develop a fighting game. So with prototypes and the permission of Nintendo to use their characters, to which they replied, "Why not?" In 1999, on the Nintendo 64, Super Smash Bros. Was released. It was a massive success, a 4-player fighting game that anyone can play. The way Sakurai developed the game was like a rock, paper, scissors method. Attacking beats grabbing, grabbing beats shielding, and shielding beats attacking. With this analogy, he decided to use percentage to see who can rack up the most damage and not use health bars. The only way to beat your opponents was to knock them off the stage, like sumo wrestling, which Sakurai took inspiration from. Combine that with 8 of Nintendo's popular characters and you have the best game ever made, selling over 1 million copies. In 2001, Nintendo unveils their next console, the Nintendo GameCube. Gamers were excited and ready. But what about Smash Bros.? After release of Smash 64, Sakurai had only 13 months to develop the next Smash title for the GameCube. It was awful. Even with a bigger team and bigger budget, it's a lot of excruciating stress and pressure to get the game ready for release. Sakurai worked for 40 hours, went home, slept for 4 hours, and came straight back to work on the game, without any time off. One day while working, he collapsed due to exhaustion and had to go to the hospital. After this incident, Nintendo decided to give Sakurai just 6 more months, eventually releasing the game in its rushed state. Super Smash Bros. Melee was announced and released in late 2001. Now, I'm not kidding when I say this, but this game was praised as the best Super Smash Bros. Ever. The gameplay was the same, but faster, more technical, graphically better, more characters, more game modes, and more fun than the original. It's honestly ironic that this game was rushed, yet by a miracle it was considered the best. It even sold over 7 million copies. It even started holding tournaments for a community of Smash Bros. Players around the world that praise it, and they still do to this day. However, it was obviously not perfect. For a few years after its release, many people found issues with the game that made it unbalanced. There were characters that were too strong, characters that were too weak, stages you'd clip through, chain moves, lack of hitboxes, and a few more that I can't go through in this video, but I'm sure you've seen plenty from others. But like I said, it's still considered the best to this day. In 2003, Sakurai left HAL Laboratory, stating, "It was tough for me to see that every time I made a new game, people automatically assumed that a sequel was coming. Even if it's a sequel, lots of people have to give their all to make a game. But some people think the sequel process happens naturally." So Sakurai ended his work with Kirby and the Smash Bros. Franchise to move on to other projects. Although he still wanted to make games, just completely different and original ones. So in 2005, he founded his own company, Sora Limited, to develop new and original games. Except for one thing. During E3 in 2005, Nintendo's president Satoru Iwata presented a new console, the Nintendo Wii. During the presentation, he announced the console's features and the games to release with it, even the next Smash Bros. This was huge. But the problem with this was that Iwata never told Sakurai, and to Sakurai's surprise, he just learned this during the announcement. So after the event, both Iwata and Sakurai talked about it. Iwata's plan was that if Sakurai didn't want to make a new Smash Bros., they would remaster Melee for the Wii. In the end, Sakurai shot the idea down and agreed to do it, while he would take over development for it. E3 2006. Just a year later, during the Nintendo Wii's presentation, the reveal for Super Smash Bros. Was shown. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. This game introduced even more characters, more game modes, more stages, stage building, Sakurai voicing King Dedede, and it was the first to cross over with two third-party characters, bringing Solid Snake and Sonic the Hedgehog into battle. It was glorious, and the people were more hyped to get their hands on it. Brawl was released in 2008, and you bet everyone ate that game up, selling 4.17 million copies. It was another success, another new and fun game for everyone to play. However, what took everyone by surprise was the game's mechanics. Sakurai stated in an interview that Brawl played a lot differently than Melee. The game was slowed down for new and casual players. The characters used different abilities than before, and they introduced a new ability called the Final Smash, where a character grabs a smash ball and executes a strong final smash to wipe out their opponents. This was strange for advanced players that were so used to Melee's gameplay, but Sakurai chose this idea since it was to introduce new players to the franchise, to give everyone a fair fight. One final mode was also brought into the game, Story Mode, aka Subspace Emissary, an adventure bringing all the characters into one story that you play through and fight your way to victory. This was the most iconic mode. If there's one thing that people love the most about Brawl, it's its story mode. While you're sitting on the couch with the second player as you uncover and explore the levels throughout the game, with awesome CG cutscenes explaining the storyline. This was the most exhilarating part of the game everyone got to experience. Fun fact, apparently the cutscenes were recorded and acted out by Sakurai himself for his team to animate. What a legend. A few years go by after Smash Bros. Brawl was released. In 2011 at E3, Nintendo showed off two of their consoles, the 3DS and the Wii U. And yes, another Smash Bros. Was in development for both. This time, everyone wants to know who's joining the fight this time. The anticipation and excitement rise after each new trailer and character was dropped. There was a lot of updates from Sakurai as the release grew closer, including a 50-fact extravaganza and a DLC pack on the way. Finally, the game was released in 2014 for the 3DS first and sold over 2 million copies, and the Wii U triumphed with 5.38 million copies. Over time, the game grew very popular, and with its online play, it was even better. It fixed up on Brawl's old mechanics, which improved the game a little, touched up on the graphics, added new stages, new modes, and returning ones, 58 characters, 8-player Smash, new and returning characters, your Mii is playable, jamming music, and way more. Unfortunately, this game wasn't going to have a story mode. It also had to cut a few characters due to hardware limitations. It wasn't as fast as Melee, and it still had some unbalanced characters. Even when this game was offered a lot, it still wasn't satisfying as people expected it. And it left the question, now what? So one day, Daddy Sakurai called up a meeting with his team and said, okay, so for the next Smash game, why don't we add everyone? It was here, the latest Super Smash Bros., and it was the ultimate one. Okay, gather all the recent Smash games, combine them, and times it by, I don't know, like 100. And yeah, that's this game. It's so unreal. I still don't know how this was possible, but it was. 69.46 million copies worldwide. This franchise single-handedly made gaming history and said, I'ma head out. With the amount of ambition put into this game on the Nintendo Switch was just mind-blowing. This is why I always loved Smash Brothers, because one guy knew it would be possible to create something really fun. He wasn't wrong, and with every fighter in this game, it was just better, including new ones. They even spent the rest of the time balancing the game with each update. No gaming company came this close to beating Smash Bros at their own game. Yeah, they tried, but it wasn't like Smash Bros, so thank you, Sakurai. Thank you for making everyone's childhood the best in the world. From development hell and back, you are a legend.
Happy feet, wombo combo.
That ain't Falco.
That ain't Falco. Oh, oh!